Violence in hockey is not a new story, but what is new in today's game is the manner in which players and coaches are coming to grips with the issue of concussions. Years ago, hockey players were taught to shake off a big hit that may have left them stunned or dealing with a headache. But today, better awareness and medical protocol means concussed players must stay away from the game they love, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, and sometimes for months. But as some members of the Oshawa Generals will tell you, it's all part of the game of hockey. Let's say you had a knee injury, but it wasn't quite serious and you were on the fence to play. Would you disclose that to your trainer?
I know Stevie Eisman, he played through a playoff game through a torn PCL, but if it's ACL or MCL, I think it'd be a really tough thing to play through.
Now, instead of a knee injury, let's say you had a bit of a headache, maybe from a concussion. Would that affect your mentality at all? Would it still be like, you know what, this is a big game, I have to play this game?
5 years ago, you get a headache on the ice from a hit, maybe you don't think so much about it. But obviously now with everything that's gone on with players getting concussions and whatnot, I think, yeah, the minute I get hit and I have a headache on the ice, I'm thinking concussion.
Mike Green of the Washington Capitals said you've got to make that call. I think at times the protocol for testing concussions, they're just tests. They don't know actually how you feel. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I think every player is different, so and the test, it is just a test, I think. But ultimately, it comes down to how you feel. So I think you got to take it in stride. And everybody wants to be on the ice. You don't want to watch your team. It's not fun to sit in the press box. But it's something that you don't want to mess with either.
If you knew how your life would suffer maybe 20 or 30 years down the line because of the injuries you've had playing hockey, would you look back with any regrets on that?
No. Absolutely not. Live with no regrets. I've always said that to myself. But that's a risk you take playing this game. Obviously you're going to get injured, you're going to pull a muscle, you're going to strain something, you might even break something, but it's all part of the game.
Does taking out some of the violence, as some people like to put it, in hockey, take away some of the competitiveness?
I don't know. I think it can, but at the same time, hockey players are all competitive. They changed the game from how it is 20 years ago to now, and that competitive edge is obviously still in there.
Maybe in some little way, but I don't think so. Every guy going out there, I think, is competitive. Taking out headshots, and stuff like that. I don't think it will take away from that nature. But what exactly does a concussion do? Krista McIntyre is a physiotherapist who specializes in concussions. She tells us that concussions can affect both the physical and mental aspects of everyday life.
It's associated with a variety of different kinds of symptoms. So it can have physical symptoms of headache or neck pain or dizziness. It can also have cognitive problems, so difficulty concentrating or memory loss, and also emotional problems. So the way that I explain it to my patients is actually that I always have them envision what would happen if you put a ball inside of a box, and the box is just a little bit bigger than the ball. You close the box and then you shake that box around. What happens to the ball? It rattles around all inside of the box. And if you picture that in the framework of our brain, it's rattling inside of our hard skull, and it can cause some kind of disruption, obviously, of the brain. When we open up the box, the ball looks fine, and if we didn't know that we shook it, we would think it was fine. But in terms of the function of that high process of our brain, we really see a decrease in their ability to kind of focus or concentrate, as well as perform their sport and their high-level physical activity.
For the game to change, the culture of hockey will have to change, so that the coaches, fans, players who receive these injuries will understand the seriousness of concussions, the effect it can have on the ice, as well as life away from the rink. Reporting from the GM Center, I'm Rizwan Zahid, Rogers TV.